Marlene, did you get any things from me today on the?
I did. I got them this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to go through them yet.
Emmett did that for me too. Not on my own by any means. I think you all know that.
We got that. That's okay.
We know you're the brains behind the operation.
Yeah.
Hi, Kate.
Hi,
Hi,
Sue.
Kate.
Hi there. Just
Hi, Kip.
well, sorry.
Oops.
Yeah, Dave
Sue's
Moore
here.
said he's going to be a little bit late.
Okay.
Fashionably late, I think he said.
Fashionably late. Okay. So I think we're pretty much here. So what I did get comments from Harry. Which we should have I guess figure out next steps here.
Yeah.
So let me just say, as someone who put some fresh eyes on it today for the first time in a while, I think it looks great. My recommendation would be change very little.
What does your hat say, by the way?
So this is Lao, and it's Nuk Nuk, which is like cheers or slancha, or so it's
Slancha, I understand.
yes. Well, now you learned something new. Nuk Nuk.
Knock, knock.
Knock knock. I like it.
But this is water.
Oh, it's not from down south?
No.
So Sue Ellen, you should help us think through the next best steps here.
Well, I think we want to finalize this. We were happy with the format. Jeff made some very good comments about the management of the entire document so that it was in parallel construction.
Yep.
I kept demanding lots of white space and shorten everything, because I really feel that we want the people it's going to read it. And the only way they'll read it is if they don't have to work too hard.
Truer words were never spoken.
That is true.
So Sue Ellen, on that note, we did lose some of our bulleted kind of look. It still is pretty much that way. But I do think, if we bold some of the kind of the subtitles, or
Okay.
so others may not agree. Again, formatting is tricky, and you don't want to. But I think we want to make each section look easy to dive into, right? So people can quickly look, oh yeah, I want to understand what the review of the previous plans was about, or I really want to know what the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission said about this, so they can understand that. Or if they don't really care about what the Planning Commission said, they can just move to the next thing. But that, and I think we did a pretty good job of keeping each of the sections reasonable, and they're it's balanced. So I really like the way it stands right now. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing in just one reading, and since you've done it, since we finished it yesterday, and you put it all together, because I know I didn't send you my comments till it struck midnight last night. So I know you had to hit them this morning. So, but I did get out a lot of the redundancy too on the long-term protection soil, and we had it in two places, that. So that's all gone. It's much tighter. So I think we're in pretty good shape, but I do think we have to at some point talk about substance. Is there, do these recommendations and our explanations really speak to, are they what, when we first thought about it, does this strike us correct now. And that I do think takes some standing back from it. You know, if people haven't read it, I don't know that we're ready to have that conversation today, you know?
Well, one of my comments, Marlene and you guys, and maybe it belongs in there, maybe it doesn't. The first paragraph on page 1 and the first paragraph on page 2 are exactly the same.
One was the executive summary. That could be a
Yeah.
standalone page. That first
Yeah.
page could be a standalone.
Yeah, and then on page 2, the introduction, that first paragraph is the same as on the first page.
Right. Yeah, so that way, I mean, the report would start the same. It's just the first page.
Yeah,
If somebody just wants to know what we were asked to do and what we did.
all right, so my question was, does it belong there or not? That's all. Okay.
So I got to read over it just this afternoon, and I agree that it is really much improved. I feel like it holds together pretty well. Happy with it. The one thing that I see that from the pieces that I wrote or that was responsible for, that I feel like got cut out, that might, I mean, maybe this is a discussion we need to have about whether it should go in or not. But the recommendation that the Planning Commission made about finding the deed seemed like that came out, and I don't know if that.
I think we know where it is. Kate, the reason I took that out is because I think I know where it is.
Oh, okay.
So
It
I
just seems
think-
like that should be resolved. Like either we should be 100% sure we have it, or I think it should be a recommendation to find it. But
yeah, the attorney.
Yeah, I think Marlene is looking toward a final document, but
Okay.
Kate's right. If we can't find it before we submit the final document,
We'll put it
back in, that has to go.
But I think I think my husband thinks he knows where it is.
okay, that would be awesome. And the are we still planning on including the reports from the Planning Commission as appendices?
Yes,
Excellent.
I think we should, on the appendices, we should
Mhm.
decide what the actual appendices are gonna be. And that way we can note them correctly in the document and consistently. You know, like see appendix, whatever.
Yep.
We just should go through that and figure that out.
Yeah, that's kind of like writing a glossary for something. And obviously, we're going to have to decide what is going into those. And we certainly need the laws. We need the Planning Commission report. We need any further documentation of history. Do we have any further documentation from the abutters and stakeholders and so forth? Then that should go in. But otherwise, I think we should try to keep them as clean as we're keeping the rest of the document.
I would suggest adding the order from the city council too, to the appendices, right?
Great idea.
Good. So,
And may I ask if Kip will hang around at the end of the meeting? I've got a question for him,
As long
having
as it's
nothing
not-
to do with this.
as long as it's not being recorded.
no worries. So. what
Oh,
should
I
we-
know what else. A copy of the letter that went to the abutters.
It's a good idea.
And maybe a copy of any documentation that went back and forth to any of the, say, Fish and Game or Mass Department.
We could
If-
also,
Only if they're referred to in the document.
how about the, public hearing presentation, the PowerPoint we did?
Not a bad idea. We don't want to make this look like a textbook.
No,
Jeff, you're muted.
Thanks for that. Might be good practice.
Yeah.
Oh, you were talking to somebody else.
Hello.
No, I wasn't.
I thought he was talking to himself. I was starting to get worried.
Apparently, I'm always talking to myself.
What
So
is-
I'm just curious about, a few appendices is okay. I agree.
Day
So we don't-
before, June 9th.
I'll wait. At any rate, do we know the process to get it
Okay, and you might start thinking
to
about
the city council? Do we
a
go
toast or
through?
a small speech.
yeah, we should ask Sue Ellen, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us were appointed by the city, some were our city council, some were appointed by the mayor.
Yeah, you and I and Kip were appointed by the city council.
Not a good idea.
I'm the representative of the planning board.
And Dave was at DPW.
And I am Conservation Commission.
And I think Sue Ellen was the mayor's appointment because she
Oh,
told me that.
okay, do you need to talk to anybody else? Because I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting. Okay, hug everybody for me. Sure, just a sec.
Yeah.
Can somebody put your dad on the phone? Uncle Tom.
Yeah, we get to know a lot about people's private lives in this process. There's no
Exactly.
question.
We are
And-
family.
and-
Okay,
Yeah,
the clouds
and-
are moving in, everybody, in case you were wondering. They're coming in from the west.
Yeah, I'm watching them coming my way, so thanks for the heads up. So, yeah.
The wind picked up there a little bit.
I just should tell everybody, I'm gonna have to leave the meeting early because I've got senior year graduation activities. But I'll have, Marlene, I have a few like small comments, but I'll send them to you, but otherwise nothing else of substance besides what I,
If you don't mind, Kate, I might want you to do we could do an edit on this doc somehow.
sure, sounds great. Yeah,
Okay.
just be in touch with me directly and we'll figure out a time.
Okay,
It's a busy week, but I'll make time for it.
okay.
So where, we probably also obviously need to list the committee membership at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Is
we
that,
should
do we
that.
want that to go, in the document directly or as an appendix? But so that's, for folks to mention, think about.
So we should have like a plan for, someone that'll take care of, gathering the appendices or, making sure someone's, like making sure that Kate's got the full copy of the planning commission stuff to attach and, we've got a copy of the order and we've got, so we have all that stuff. Then we can see what it looks like. And then, we should physically decide how we're going to finish this, like, I don't know, final typing, printing, accumulation of all the things in some report format or folder or notebook or something.
Have we looked at images? Have we looked at what kind of images we might want to use in the,
I don't believe we have, but that's a good idea.
And do we only want images on the cover, or do we want to, scatter a few through?
Well, photos make for easier reading for people that want to read, so maybe scatter them right through it. It makes you think you're reading faster.
Sometimes it's easier to see history than to read it.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of images bounced around, right? Harry, you came up with some good ones.
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Albert give us some. So maybe we should,
Yeah. Revisit those.
Yeah, maybe pick, if you're so inclined, pick one or two. And
Yeah, so some of the ones I have, I just snapped it out of some of the books I have, so they're not crisp and clear, but they can be made that way.
Yeah.
Because I think I had like 25 or 30 different pictures.
right, there were some good ones.
Yeah, some historical and some of my
Yeah.
grandkids sliding down the banking and whatever. And some random ducks and geese.
That's a
I
good.
think the historical information is wonderful.
Yeah, well, Dave Conti said they didn't have anything written down on it, so which I find kind of remiss, but and we still have that old film that I ended up with a VCR of that we got to look at some point. Maybe when we have a little get together afterwards, we'll look at that. It's kind of it's simple, but it's period. In the 30s, it was taken by a teacher at the high school, and they took a picture of all the reservoirs. But a lot of it is moving pictures of actually things that are moving, like little streams and overflows and that kind of stuff. But there is a brief bit on the entrance to the Whiting Street Reservoir, that stone archway. There is that.
cool.
Goes by in seconds. And I think they have the spray pool as well. So there's some nice things in there. But we have to find somebody that knows how to take it from a VCR and put it on something we can deal with. Otherwise, you come down to my basement on my VCR and watch it over there with the ironing board.
We can have our rat party at your house, Harry.
Yeah, we got
I'll
moving
bring the wine.
ironing board, and we can do it. But that's the only VCR I have in the house, and most people don't even have one, I guess, right now, right?
No, I think we got rid of it.
I still have.
I've still got one, but you gotta come upstairs.
But I think somehow that should be able to be done, but I don't know how. I mean, how it can be done correctly. I mean, you can just sit down and stick your phone in front of it and let it play, I suppose. But,
I think probably the people up at, Northampton in that art store.
I bet Scott McPherson at Holyoke Media knows how to do
I'll
that.
bet he
Right.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Scott McPherson guy, maybe he'll help us.
He does everything.
He does everything.
He's
Hi,
incredible.
Scott. We
Have
know
they
you're not-
opened their have they opened their new studio yet? At Holyoke Media, have they opened up in the old planning board offices yet?
Hey, Scott's coming unmuted.
Oh, disappeared. There he is.
Buildings, we're dealing with supply side issues. Construction is done at the end of June. What did you need from me?
Oh, I have a VCR tape taken from probably a 16 millimeter film of the reservoirs back in the early 1930s by a teacher from Holyoke High School. So it's kind of randomly thing, but we're trying to find a way to put that into something that we can all watch rather than watching somebody's VCR.
Yeah, we don't have anything that does that just because, organizationally, we're only a few years old. But the person to talk to would be, or to connect with would be Mike over at the TV studio at the high school, because he's got some older technology on hand and may have gear on hand that can do that. And if you reach out to him, I can communicate with him about that.
Okay. Just a simple call at the high school. Mike, you got any mics down there?
It's Mike Hines.
Hines?
Yeah. Hang on. I'll put his email in chat.
Oh, okay.
Just tell him you're working on a report for the city, and and ask if he has anything that can do it, and that there you go.
In the chat, in the chat box, Scott's got the email address.
Yeah, oops, went away.
Yeah, we could also check the community college if he can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you put that back up? Because I was writing it down and it went away.
It's still up, Harry. You must have gotten rid of your chat box.
My hands are tied. I didn't touch
It's
it.
M.
There it comes.
Yeah.
M. Hines. Public
HBS.
schools.
hps.holyoke.ma.us.
Holyoke. It still went away. .ma.
Yep.
Yep.
.us.
.us.
Okay.
That was the old style for all governments
Okay.
emails.
All right. I will reach out to him and see what we can find out.
Okay.
The other thing to check is maybe whether or not he can adopt a frame of the archway leading into the reservoir to use on the cover page.
Okay. Well, I do have a still image of that too. That one's not.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's not pristine either. So, and yeah, we can do that. Let's see what might come out better.
Okay.
They don't have, if they don't have to look pristine, they, in some ways, that's kind of cool as long as it's clear, as long as the image is a nice image, but
Okay.
so I'm curious about a transmittal letter to the city council and the mayor. I'm wondering if that could be the first page of our document. That would be just like a transmittal letter to the city council and the mayor. And it just be very short and sweet, and then it would have all our names and who we represent. That way it's right at the front of the report. That clearly sets in motion where the report came from. It's just a thought.
Be a good way to do it. Something that says in reply to your order of whatever date it was for a study on the Whiting Street Reservoir, the committee you appointed submits the enclosed and sign it with all of our names. Maybe a little more detail.
I mean, you could say the slightest bit about the charge, right? But we say plenty about that. We're going to, like Kip said, suggested the whole charge be in the appendix. And so I agree with that. So, but, you could say a little bit about what we're about.
So do we need to have, like, depending on the number of appendices, we should probably do like a table of contents or something?
We should.
Is somebody good at formatting? Because I'm not.
I am not, and table of contents are very interesting. You have to get everything.
That Kate's going to be. I'm going to hope that Kate is good at some of this stuff. Sue Ellen, do you think she will be?
Yeah, and we can get a table of contents together. It'll have 2 items. Well, 3. A letter, introductory letter, report, and appendices.
Appendices.
And then we'll have to break out each section. Under report, it would be executive summary, and then history, legal considerations, whatever we want to do. And then the appendices would be 1 legal items.
We could do the legal
those-
stuff then the planning commission stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get it together. It should be fairly simple.
So there were, hang on. I'm just thinking about, I'm writing down appendices, as I'm sure Marlene was. But there were things that came to us. There were things that came to us like the Bear Hole conservation easement. And look, I'm not excited. I don't want to make this task last forever. And I don't think, I don't know that anyone will ever look at that, right? And it was quite a few pages. But there may be things like that we want to think about. The other thing, Harry, you and Dave and others collected a photo archive. It's possible that could be an appendix just to show, that we looked at some of the history. You don't have to have, but again, then all that adds time and effort, and do we need it? But I do think we should think about those things. But the list I have right now so far is the city council order, the PVPC report, the letter to adjacent landowners, information, the PowerPoint presentation for the public meeting.
Yeah.
And the public meeting notice is probably also important.
Yeah.
You got the letter to the abutters?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have that in there as, yeah. And so if we had, I think that's most of the things, but there were things that Jennifer provided us from
Jennifer Howard sent.
Jennifer Howard from DCR provided us related to easements. And I don't know that it's worth, I think they were long and legal documents. But for instance, if we're really going to recommend the CR, then it's worth considering having, that in there. But that's.
She sent us the CR from Bear Hole, right?
Yeah, I think she
On the
provided us.
contrary, I wouldn't put a sample easement in there because it could scare some people to death.
I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Again, I think it's problematic anyway because it's a long document, and it's like you said, there's lots of legalese. Did I miss anything with the appendices? Again,
So I had the same thing, city council letter, the laws, the planning commission stuff, the letter to landowners, the PowerPoints, public meeting notice. Photo archive, if we can gather one and make it look appropriate.
yeah,
So
I mean,
do
people
we-
may just see that as fun, even if they weren't high quality photos. If they're not, if they're just in an appendix, people might have fun looking at those. But it adds, if you're going to print the report and all, it adds, that's even sending the whole report via email that could make it more difficult.
So is the plan to physically print a copy of this and give it to somebody or to send it electronically?
I would print a physical copy of it, give it to the city council with electronic copies to members. And maybe another full copy to the mayor. But I think we're going to want to print at least a couple.
Yeah, I'm mixed about that, but just because I know it's work, it's work to get them printed, but I do think it would probably have a benefit.
Well, I'm thinking about pushing a button on my computer now that my printer's working and printing it. That kind of printer. I'm not thinking about taking it to Marcus or Hadley or one of those places.
Well, don't forget that any photos you do on that is not going to come out very well.
Right, that's the, right.
That'd be the downside of that. But maybe the only downside.
Well, I've seen some stuff printed down at Staples on their commercial printers. It
Mhm.
comes out looking about as good as anything could get. A little pricey, but it's worth it.
Mhm. A lot of it's the type of paper they use too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry, are you interested in trying to fool with the photo archive a little bit?
Yeah, I can do some of that. I'll see what I have on my, I've got some stuff on my, in my computer here. I got a lot of it. Like I said, some of it's not all that clear at this point, but I can redo some of that. Yeah, I can do some of that.
What do you guys think the next step is? Do you think do we need to meet again? To look at this one more time? I mean, I really think this is a complete document. It's a complete draft. That's what I would call this, a complete draft. And now there are just a few, we all need to really look at it hard. And I think, put the finishing touches on the appendices. Yeah.
And as you said, Jeff, I think we need to really look at the recommendations and make sure that they speak to.
Losing you, Marlene.
You're losing me?
Yeah.
That's better.
That's
That's
better.
much better. It's
Okay.
amazing how much different that is.
So I think we need to we need to go through and look at the recommendations and make sure that they are reading the way we want them to read, that they're communicating the message we're trying to communicate about the importance of the recommendations, making sure the protection, making sure, there's water, the water's there, making sure we're comfortable with the, activity section that we put together, and that we're comfortable with the orders for the planning and the follow-on group. We just, now that they're there, we should read them and make sure they're communicating correctly. So that needs like a Sue Ellen sort of edit of the recommendations, I think.
Well, I hopefully will have more time after this weekend.
After Friday. Yep.
Well, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Ah.
I've got
Oh,
house
no.
guests until Monday.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And I'm not sure about the schedule for the Atlanta contingent. Things are crazy.
Okay.
Well, so what do you guys think we need to do? Just it would be nice to at least set some expectations for ourselves so we know. I mean, can we finish this in the next meeting, for instance? At least have a completed draft, or just a couple more tasks. That's what I'm curious about.
I think so.
So everybody should do a last edit read, sending comments, and then I can try to take everybody's comments and put them into but everybody should try to do that for me. Other than Sue Ellen, everybody else should get me their stuff by the end of this week or by the first part of next week. And then Sue Ellen and I can do a read of the, maybe Sue Ellen, you and I can get together one day next week, and we can read those recommendations and decide if they're saying enough and saying it strongly enough.
Okay, and maybe we can work out the table of contents while we're at it.
Yeah, the table of contents just gets tricky when you try to enable it so it sends you electronically to the to that place in the document.
Those are well above my pay grade table of contents.
It's not that it's you just want one, but once you enable the table of contents, then you just want to do that near the end before you enable it. There's a
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do, because otherwise something will get changed in the document and everything will be wrong.
it actually tracks that stuff for you, Sue Ellen, but if you use like the wrong fonts and stuff, like if the sections have different fonts, it really messes with you.
I did try to make it go with correcting fonts in the version I sent out today, so, but that's
Yeah.
always a.
Well, let's not make problems. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
It's fun to make problems sometimes.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. We don't. So Marlene, are most of these appendices things you can grab? I heard Kate agree to, to pull in the PVPC
So
report together.
I had the city council order. I know, or if I can't find the planning commission docs, Kate has them, I know. I don't have the specific legal sites or regulatory sites. I don't have.
For which? For
So we were going to do the legal stuff. We were going to just stick a copy of the, chapter 97 or whatever those things are in the appendices.
do you think we need it now? I mean, looking at, I honestly don't. I mean, I got rid of a lot of that stuff and I was going to pull it all and hold it, but it didn't seem that relevant to me.
So what do you think, Sue Ellen? Do we need it?
Sue Ellen, are you hearing us?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think actually we need a little, well, let me read through, but I think, because honestly, I haven't had a chance to do it.
Okay.
But I think we do. And I think I have copies of most of it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it just depends how much you want to put in there. The Wetlands Protection Act is, 80 pages. So how do you summarize it? We summarized it pretty briefly, but it has the key portions for like the Wetlands Protection Act that are regulated. It explains, with Article 97 exactly, what it is, the intent of the law, and when it went into effect, and it was voted in 1972, and that it's and exactly how you can wiggle out of it. I just wonder if we're adding things we don't need. Anybody can look up we give a citation in the document. I tried to put the citations for a few of those laws and regulations, like the water quality regulations, and I think so anyway, just when you read it, just see, we can put them in there, but I don't think it becomes another editing thing, because if you go to look up the website for those documents, it's very thick. It's right away you're into the reading of the title, and it doesn't make much sense. Right?
I didn't think of that, but you're right. Everybody can look those up on the web.
Again, if we want to do it, I'm glad to figure out a way, but it will take work because we'll have to you're really going to have to summarize that, because we're not.
Right, because unless you stick, I mean, And because you're right, I mean, we don't want to stick 150 pages of
No,
legal
absolutely not.
appendices here.
Right. You know, the water quality regs are very dense. The Wetland Protection Act is very dense. And Article 97 is not. It's just a constitutional amendment. It's very straightforward. And I even included some of the language there, but I don't think you need more than that. But when people read it, that's the thing. I'd be curious to see what people think after they read it.
Well, you know me, the less is better.
Less is always better. Yeah, so if we don't have to, that would be great. If we don't have to do that, but we should read the sites.
You have to finish our camel, Sue Ellen.
Incidentally, dromedary is one hump. I
Thank
looked
you.
it up.
I knew you would. That's behind the scenes talk, you guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, something like a report written by a committee.
What is the double hump one called?
Bactrian.
Oh, okay.
You didn't think you were gonna stump her, did you, Harry?
No, but I was down with my granddaughter and grandson was playing baseball down at Forest Park on Sunday. We took the little one into the zoo there, and it was the dromedary was in there.
Cool.
Been a long time since I've been to that zoo. It's changed a lot.
Yeah, zoos have come out of favor. They're still cool though.
Yeah, it was nice, and it was sad as well. You know, from
Exactly.
some of the animals in there didn't look like they were,
Happy?
They didn't look like they were too happy with what they were doing. You know, but some of them were fine. Yeah, it's been since, I think the last time I was in there to see the zoo was in probably like in 1976 or something, which is not even the same place anymore.
Right.
No.
I had cousins who grew up a few blocks away from the park, and we used to go over there all the time. I mean, there was the cat house, the monkey house.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable what that zoo was in there.
Yeah. Well, the Monkey House building is still there, but
So where was that? Where was this?
Forest Park in Springfield.
Really? Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, the Monkey House is still there up down the end, so that got me to figuring where everything used to be. And there was like a cage there with a few monkeys in it, but not like it used to be. No. And then the polar bear, which was Snowflake, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's been gone a long time too.
And bison out in the big field behind it. It was quite
That's
a
pretty cool.
Yeah. And they
so beautiful park.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
It's
beautiful
different.
park. That's right. Yeah. So for $3 you can go in there and pretty much do anything you want. It's kept up very well by the city of Springfield, I may add.
When should we meet next? How much time do we need?
So what do we have to do? We have editing and finding, the photo.
Making sure that we can find the deed.
Making sure we can find. Oh yeah. I will harass husband.
So that could also be an appendix if it's short enough.
Or we can add language back in that says no one knows where it is.
I'll ask Sue some photos up and I'll give this M. Hines an email and see if we can get that VCR into a thumb drive or whatever.
That sounds cool.
Digitize it.
Or whatever.
Digitize it.
Or an 8-track.
So what do you guys think? Can everybody get me their thoughts by the end of the week, and then Sue Ellen and I'll do a edit session next week?
You need photos by the end of the week?
No,
Oh, okay. All
just
right,
stock edits. I already have yours.
comments and stuff. Okay, yeah,
Works for me.
okay.
So then we're gonna try to reconvene in 2 weeks and see where we are?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not available that week of the 20th. But you guys can carry on.
Not without you. I think that's a bad idea.
I think so too.
Me too.
What's wrong with you guys?
We need you. Can't you
You-
understand
You're
that?
saying not the 20th. How about the 27th?
I think that works. Hang on.
Tuesday will be the 28th.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
looking at Mondays.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go for the 28th.
Sure.
And hopefully we can then we can plan a wrap party.
We don't do rap anymore. Then
Well,
anyway,
there's rap and there's
never did.
rap. Okay.
Okay.
And
All right.
Kip, don't forget, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Good night.
I'm gonna turn the recording off.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.